Hey, it's Mitchell. I just posted my video about why, at least I think, Nikon's upcoming mirrorless cameras are going to be superior to what we have from Canon. I've had a really good response from that, and I thought might as well go ahead and outline what I really think are kind of the three key areas or features that Nikon needs to address with the upcoming release of this mirrorless camera. Like last time, this is a bit of not an open letter per se, but a bit of a rant. And like the last videos, this is brought to you guys by Backblaze. And if you're unfamiliar with Backblaze, if you're a photo or a video creator and you only have your content being backed up in one place, you don't have to use my affiliate link. You don't even have to use Backblaze. Just make sure that you have some kind of backup redundancy for your photos and video. This year, I lost 4 terabytes of photo and video from my time living in Southeast Asia. I discovered Backblaze. I started using them. I've been trying to put my friends onto Backblaze, regardless of whether or not they use my affiliate link or not, simply because to lose that much photo and video is not only a loss of memory, but a loss of digital assets. And it's something that I don't want anyone else to experience. Another thing I just really wanted to quickly add is I will be doing a live stream right around, during, or after the announcement of the Nikon mirrorless cameras this week. I currently live in Southeast Asia, so the time that they're getting announced falls right smack dab in the middle of my day. I have the free time to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a live stream reaction, hopefully talking with more of you guys who are also Nikon fans about what you think of the upcoming Nikon mirrorless cameras and the features that they have announced. The first feature that I think Nikon could incorporate into the upcoming release of these cameras that would make them a runaway success is 4K 60 with video autofocus and no crop. This is something that Canon has had on the 1DX now for a while. The file type and file size that the 1DX generates, somewhat prohibitive to shoot with. And as we all know, the Panasonic GH5 and GH5S also have that. If Nikon could release a full frame mirrorless camera with 4K 60 at, let's say, 200 megabits or 300 megabits per second, I think it would make it a clear challenger and enough of an incentive for Nikon users to stop switching over to Sony and potentially even win some of the market share back from Canon, since I doubt many Sony shooters are going to switch back to Nikon. Now, along with 4K 60 internal, if Nikon could go ahead and bring to market 10-bit external recording, I really think that doing something like that would do a lot, right, for Nikon. I understand the price point. I understand that the price point and the feasibility of this is kind of a long shot, but we're talking about features that I think would go ahead and kind of stop the bleeding for Nikon, and 10-bit external would be a big, big improvement for what we have right now on the video front. I know that for serious video people, being able to shoot 10-bit is a really big incentive. And while doing 10-bit internal is something that I don't see Nikon implementing, to have that option to record 10-bit externally, I could see really being a game changer for Nikon, especially in the video space. Now, I understand that these upcoming Nikon mirrorless cameras are aimed more at the A7 III and the A7R III, but Nikon could bring a A7S Type 3 variant later down the line that's lower megapixel count, that's more video oriented, but I think that at least having cameras with this feature set either on the roadmap or in the pipeline would do a lot to get current Nikon shooters invested into this Nikon mirrorless system. Now, all of this isn't really valuable if Nikon doesn't implement a true log picture profile on their cameras. I've shot with the Nikon flat profiles before. They're okay, but that's just it. They're okay. And what we need from Nikon right now is a truly class-leading device. The second key feature or area that I want to see Nikon really take seriously is autofocus. And this is autofocus for stills and autofocus for video. Personally, coming from a Nikon D750, which was a tremendous stills camera and a decent video camera, if we had a autofocus system at least on the level of the A6500 for both video and photo, and I know the A6500 is not the end-all be-all, but I'm assuming that because this is a first-generation product, the bar, at least in my opinion, is set pretty low. So if Nikon could implement something similar to Sony's 4D autofocus system on their next mirrorless cameras, while autofocus might not be class leading, it certainly wouldn't be that restrictive, at least in speed and accuracy. Now, along with the AF capabilities, I really want to see the upcoming Nikon mirrorless camera have an excellent focus peaking system, and this specifically is why. And this is specifically why. Nikon has over 40 years almost at this point of Fmount Glass. Now, video shooters have been picking up old vintage Nikon manual focus lenses to adapt and use for video now for a while. And that's for a lot of reasons, including the characteristics that using old glass has, the long focus throw, and the smooth focus actuation of the vintage prime lenses. Now, with Nikon introducing an adapter for the current F-mount glass, I would really like to see this F-mount to Z-mount adapter be able to go ahead and take that old manual focus, manual aperture Nikon glass and integrate it. And that would mean that for video shooters that want to shoot vintage prime lenses, but also want to have the option of full frame Nikon F-mount glass, that they can do that, right? And I think that bringing that type of functionality to the table with a first-party accessory would mean great compatibility, great fit and finish, and overall really do a lot to show video shooters, at least, that Nikon is serious about you using Nikon and Nikkor glass into the future for both stills and for video. Now, the last area is the one I think that we're most likely to see from Nikon, and that is superb ergonomics and battery life. One of my biggest and hardest adjustments when going from a D750 to an A6500 has been the not horrendous ergonomics, but poor ergonomics of the A6500, the mediocre to average battery life, and this is something that I think that Nikon is going to take really seriously. And I would like to see the next Nikon camera be not necessarily as small as the A6500, but if it was the size of the A7 III or the A7 line of cameras with a slightly deeper grip to house a larger and more improved battery, I think that that would be great, just in regards to hand-holding feel. Based on Nikon's history and what the renders are showing, I doubt that Nikon is going to bring a camera that doesn't have great hand feel, if that makes any sense, to the table. And I think that ergonomics and in-hand feel is something that Nikon's definitely going to bring to the table. Now, along with this, I'd be interested to see what their weather sealing, what their weatherproofing measures are on this camera, because they have been pushing a couple press videos recently about the weatherproofness and the durability of the D850. And if Nikon brought mirrorless cameras to the table with poor weather sealing and mediocre construction, I don't know if that would be enough to keep people necessarily on board with Nikon. I would even love to see like a lens change mode where the moment you press the lens change release button, maybe the shutter closes to protect the sensor from dust. Things like that could be really small and optional firmware update type of things that I could see Nikon implementing to really go ahead and do a lot to kind of cement this as a serious mirrorless camera, in the marketplace. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed those kind of 3 areas and what I would like to see from Nikon, and at least what I think Nikon needs to bring to the table to make a thoroughly convincing mirrorless camera. Like I said before, I'm going to be doing a live stream right around the time that it's announced, and I would hope and I would invite all you guys to go ahead and join in with that. I'm going to be reading, responding to comments, and doing a lot of hopefully interacting with you guys. And I'm going to wrap this video up here. I've been blabbering on for a while. Until next time, it's been Mitchell coming to you from Lang Son, Vietnam, about 20 kilometers from China. I'm out.